Welcome back to another episode of the Fourth and a Mile podcast, this college football edition. My name's Nicholas Elliott, back again with JD Zasa. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. Just a completely busy day of just life in general, but I get to talk college football right now, so I'm happy.
That's right. I mean, insane week all around the country with many upsets. Let's head straight into the big headlines, shall we? All right, let's go to the Syracuse Orange defeating ranked Georgia Tech. It's actually a really good game. Kyle McCord, 350 yards and four touchdowns. And the transfer of Ohio State has just been going off these first 2 weeks. Then Cade Klubnik, 24 of 26, 378 yards, five touchdowns in the one half against App State, with Clemson bouncing back in a big way. And just Cal defense as a whole, secondary, especially against Auburn. And we'll get into that in the recap later in the episode. Well, let's get straight into the recaps. How would you like to start us off with Texas going into the big house, destroying Michigan and moving up to the top two team in the eight people?
So this was game of the week. College game day was there, Big Noon Fox was there. Everyone wanted to be there. I mean, it's two of the premier programs. Like, what a helmet matchup. Just the Longhorns against the Winged Helmet. Yeah, that was about all the prestige that came. I mean, Texas looks really, really good. Like, I put them in the tier ones with the Georgia and the Ohio State. And it's not really because of their offense. It's not really because of that specifically. It's their deep. They are so deep on the defensive line and then the front seven. They can play any style of football they want. Unlike past Texas teams under Herman, they couldn't play SEC football or they couldn't play Big Ten football. Just when it gets tough, what can you do? You have to run the ball. This Texas team can do that. And Michigan probably thought, oh, we're going to get into a fist fight with Texas. We're going to get into a ugly fist fight and we're going to come out on top. Texas was like, oh, you guys want a fist fight? All right, let's go. Let's do a fist fight. They completely won the line of scrimmage. And you can tell, like, this Michigan team, even though they're the defending champs, they're in a complete rebuild.
Yep. And their offense was just inept,
I
to say
mean,
the least.
look, Michigan, they're in a rebuild. Like I said, this isn't like a national champ. This isn't normal for a national champion to go through this level of like turnaround. I mean, they lost their three best receivers, their top running back, their top quarterback, their top all their offensive line. And I mean, it's it's those who stayed. I mean, Donovan Edwards, who I thought was going to be a great running back this year, he didn't play good. 8 carries, 41 yards. Not at all. But
I
yeah,
mean, he's
I
on
was
the
just really the takeaway from the game was Texas blew them out. Michigan, no crowd. Like, it looked like the swamp. It felt like the swamp last week against Miami. But yeah, Texas really just showed me they're going to be a problem. And that's what I thought Sark was going to do when he got the job at Texas. I mean, people had their doubts. I was so high on Sark. Yeah, Texas is going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, when speaking of Donovan Edwards, I mean, you'd think he had more of an impact to be on the cover of NCAA, but he
Yeah,
was a no-show. I just think Michigan is just in a blunder right now, especially they don't know who their quarterback is. I mean, Davis Warren is all right. I mean, it's not Alex Orji's really just to Taysom Hill with that offense, just go in just to run. He's not even like a passing threat. And then, well, at least finally they put pen to paper for Sharon Moore. So at least those people saying that, oh, well, he's not signed yet or this and that. He's finally signed to Michigan. So now it's his team, but they
I
got
mean,
blitzed and destroyed and silenced out of the big house.
I kind of feel bad for Sharon Moore, but I'm also like, really, Michigan? Sharon Moore has been given to a program that's about to get punished.
Hammer.
They're not going to get hammered. I mean, the NCAA can't do crap anymore. But that's but he was given a program that's he he was given the team because he beat Ohio State last year in the game. If they didn't win that Ohio State game, he doesn't get the job. But now it's like, okay, here we go. All right, let's see what you can do on the recruiting trail. Let's see what you can do. If you can't build Michigan, they will just go, let's go get a true guy. Like, I don't know, maybe I mean, it's not really anything because Sherman Moore's the coach there, and he'll be there for probably the next 2 years at minimum.
2 years at least.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Let's head down to where we are in Tuscaloosa, and Alabama struggles for 3 quarters and then explodes in the fourth quarter against South Florida. I mean, a scary mid-major team they got in Tampa. What did you think of the game?
ugly. Like, not as bad as last year's game for Alabama, and just in general, but it wasn't great either. I mean, both sides. I mean, more so. There's a lot of Bama, but also South Florida. There were like 300. There were like 250 yards penalties on both sides. Both sides couldn't like get out of their own way in penalties. For Alabama, it was all their offensive line. I mean, they just switched. They played everyone. They tried everything, and then finally in the fourth, they were like, you know, let's screw it. Let's put in Elijah Pritchett, the guy who's supposed to start right. They finally figured out something, and turns out when you have a one starting turns out when you have tackles, you can turns out when you have a guy who's probably the best offensive lineman on the team that's not Booker or Proctor, it helps. But going back to South Florida, they probably had, but there were some miscues by South Florida, but they played great. The line of scrimmage, they completely won. Brent Brown, if he throws a deep ball, they probably win this game, like truly. But Alex Golish, my big thing is Alex Golish is going to get a Power Four job, and I think he's going to get a really good one. Like I threw this out, and I think I saw this on X. What if he's the guy that gets the Florida job if Napier's gone? That'd be scary because look what he's doing in South Florida. Like I know this team's probably going to be in the group of five conversation, but still very impressed with South Florida.
Yep. I mean, especially in the first half, you're talking about the deep balls. There was at least 2 or 3 plays back to back where Byron Brown had guys wide open in the on the deep balls, and he missed them by 1 or 2 steps. If he would have
I
had it
mean,
perfect, it
I
would have been touchdown back to back plays.
I signed the end zone for both of them, and both deep balls are coming toward me. I'm like, and they're both on the freshman, obviously. I mean,
Yeah, both on Xavier and Brown, and he was gassed, and they tried going for
not
him
just
again.
Xavier Brown. It was Jalen Mbakwe got beat. Each of them got beat, but they never played. The thing with Bama, I was like, okay, you think he's going to throw deep? Why don't they didn't play two main? They didn't play two main. They didn't play two DCs. They only played Malachi back there, which was kind of surprising. I was like, do you really think Domani? Do you really think Domani's not going to get beat once? But look, Alabama won. Ryan Williams is great. I have some concerns for this Alabama team. They're not as deep as I thought they would be on the offensive line. And then the second thing is they're they need to find another receiver that Miller can rely on. It's Ryan Williams. Like that's great, but like they need Where's Bernard been? Where's Law been? Where's Prentice been? I know Prentice had a big play, but it's like, can one guy step up in the offense? Like the run game's gonna be fine. Offensive line, I think, is gonna be fine when they fully healthy. But yeah, that's kind of my take. Alabama, there's things they can fix, but I mean, I thought this team. I mean, this team's better than they were a lot. I think better than they were last year at this time. And last year's team was like probably a fourth down away from winning the national championship, which is surprising.
Yeah, surprising to say the least. All right. You, we
You
might
want
need
to
to
go
take,
to you want
we
to go
might
to the
need,
next game?
yeah, we might need to take that last game out. Did you hear my background noise or no?
No, no, not at all.
Okay, we need to check it in the recording.
No, no, I did. Do you want to? I'll go next.
Yeah,
Ready? Ready for the next segment?
let's get to it.
So for the
How
next
about
game,
this game?
I'll go.
Yeah, sorry.
So now let's go to the other side of Alabama. Let's go a little south to Auburn. 21-14 Cal in the Plains. Auburn was like a 20-point favorite. And I have some takes on this game. I have some takes on this game because I was kind of watching some film as preparation. I've got some takes. I've got some takes on some things I saw. But before I go, Nicholas, how about you give your take on Auburn losing in the Plains?
Uh, they got destroyed on the line by team out west. It wasn't really that good. I mean, they were kind of disrespected. Fernando Campaza, their quarterback, gave me Diego Pavia vibes from New Mexico State from last year. I mean, he was just completing all the passes. I mean, he was moving. He wasn't making any mistakes. And I think he made that one mistake. He may have had one turnover, but that was it. And Peyton Thorne, right? He had a good first quarter. He was slinging the ball, finding open guys. And then second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, he was seeing demons and he was just throwing picks left and right. He had reads. I mean, I was watching Aaron Murray of ESPN he did like a 4 minute read clip of Peyton Thorne, like the reads of guys that were wide open, and he's just missing reads. I mean, I don't know if it's miscommunication between guys or not, but you're not winning ball games if your quarterback and your offensive line. His offensive line was giving him no help. I mean, he was getting beat. They were getting beat, which shouldn't happen for an SEC school to get beat on the line of scrimmage by. I mean, they're not even that good of an ACC team, but I guess now, I mean, shoot, teams are going to go out west to go play them from the Atlantic Coast Conference. That's scary.
So my take on the game is everything you said was correct, but I want to more specifically talk about Thorne. They didn't just have 4 interceptions; they also fumbled. They had 5 turnovers. You're not going to win games like that. Like Alabama did the same thing, but they had. I'll get to that later. But let's go back to the interceptions. Do you think Thorne was the biggest problem? Because there were like 3 to 2 interceptions that were not his fault. The first one, he had Cam Cohen right in the hands. He he can't catch it, and the safety or the corners right behind him to pick it off. And that was another one. Look, he did throw. Look, it's unexcusable. But here's my take on Auburn. They're rebuilding. Like they know this is going to take time. That's why I don't think they really spent that much in the portal to go get a quarterback because I think internally Freeze is like the quarterback's not going to save this team. We're completely building. We're young. They're a young football team. They're playing a ton of true freshmen this year. and you're going to have games like this. I just didn't expect it to be this early. I expected maybe Auburn to lose an SEC game, maybe lose an SEC game that they probably shouldn't. Have growing pains. Obviously, they're not going. I don't think they're going to beat Georgia, but I thought they'd. I thought it wouldn't happen like last year, like the New Mexico State game. But it was the exact same script, and Auburn didn't have the talent. And I don't get it. I'm just gonna say it's young, but I mean, we'll talk about another team that also has this problem, but man, they gotta get this tightened up. I don't think it's again, I'm not saying it's the worst thing possible. Like losing the Cal hurts, but you're also gonna have these games as a young team, and it's Hugh Freeze in year two, building up a program that was given to him. He was given a dumpster fire by Brian Harsin. He's slowly taken out the fire. So yeah, that's my take on Auburn. It's not great. I didn't think it was that bad. Payne Thorne's obviously
Yeah.
not the answer, but I mean, what were Auburn's expectations this year? Bowl game? Six
Yeah.
months?
They're also not really playing to his strengths. I mean, he's a really good runner. I mean, they're not really doing quarterback run, and they don't give the ball to Jarquez Hunter. He's their best playmaker
Oh,
on that offense. I mean, Cam Coleman's their receivers are great, but it's like Jarquez Hunter is a difference maker, and you're not giving him the ball. He should be getting 20 touches every game. I feel like they were just Freeze wanted to try to implement because he likes airing the ball out. He was play calls were he's a good recruiter, but
do you remember when Freeze was at Ole Miss? Like they ran the
yeah,
ball a lot at Ole Miss. Like obviously they had Laquan Troll, but they ran the ball a lot. And I'm like, what changed?
yeah,
Did your time at Liberty make you an air raid coach? But because
yep.
you were
Year
really good
th
at running the ball. You had Malik Willis, didn't he? Didn't you give him the ball to run? I don't know. But yeah, like I don't have a ton to say. It's just as an
yeah,
Alabama fan, I love it. I love seeing Auburn losing the Plains.
yeah.
I love it.
I
But
think
as a college football, but as a person that also wants really good football, it was an ugly game, and I think Auburn, it's growing pains. Like that's my summary of the game for Auburn, growing pains.
yeah. I
But
got one last thing before we move on, but
go for
I
it.
think the year three it was going to be the big year for Hugh Freeze because they have this good recruiting class right now. They're building for 2025,
Yeah.
and this will be the main thing with Auburn fans that I've seen is that they know he can recruit. He's recruiting great, but they just want to win games. I mean, fans don't care about recruiting if you're not winning games. You got to show it on the field, and they didn't show it. But
I mean, they really want Deuce Knight from a team that he's originally committed, but that team has bigger problems. And let's head into that game.
yep,
Notre Dame. Okay.
stinker of the
Can I,
year.
can I go ahead and read you some stats from this game? You ready for this? Okay, so
I'm
they
ready.
lost 16-14. You ready? You ready for this? Northern Illinois got paid $1.4 million to play this game.
Thanks.
It is Northern Illinois' first win against the top 10 team program in school history. This is the fourth loss to an unranked team under Marcus Freeman. The other three were Marshall last year, Clemson on the road, and Stanford. It gets better. This is the biggest underdog to beat Notre Dame in 30 years because Notre Dame was a 30-point favorite at home, a top 5 team. Yeah, this one what happened? Like I thought this defense for Notre Dame was elite. Like,
Yeah, I'm not.
and I don't think I think they played fine. Like 16 points, still like that's solid. Like, but I'm like, where is the offense? Like, where's the consistency? Where's the play the next game? Like, I get A&M was a big game, but where was the oh, I don't know. We got 11 more games to play. You had a cakewalk to the college football playoff. Florida State wasn't good. You had one big game for the rest of the year. USC. Now it's
Yep,
like,
must
even
win.
if you run the table, it's like, do you put this Notre Dame team in? It really depends on Northern Illinois, but like, do you really put this Notre Dame team? And
That's it.
what's your take? Because I'm completely just
It seems like Riley Leonard is not really a passer. I mean, that's kind of been known. He's more of a runner. But it was just they bought the rat poison got to them, as Nick Saban says.
definitely.
I mean, that's what Marcus Freeman said is that the team seemed like they were breeding too much into the playoff hype already, and that you could kind of say it happens all the time after a team gets a big win against a good team, either away or home. It's always how they bounce back. It's always how they play in the next week will show if they're a good football team or not. And Notre Dame just didn't wake up for this game. They doubted Northern Illinois and they went into South Bend and beat them. I mean, there's really nothing to it. I mean, you're saying all these stats, and they got outgained. They got dominated in their own field.
Here's the
I
here's the here's the thing that I was looking at. So Northern Illinois obviously outgained Notre Dame, which that wasn't a surprise to me. The surprise to me was guess how many rushing yards Northern Illinois had? Just take a guess.
I mean, if you said they almost had 400 yards, I'd say like probably like 150 on the ground.
190. 190 yards rushing.
It,
Like 190 rushing. I haven't that that's
that
that
shouldn't happen against Notre Dame,
that's
especially with
really
how they played against Connor Weigman.
yeah. I mean, if you're Notre Dame, this is your 300 Marcus Freeman. This is what's the problem with Notre Dame and unranked teams? It's like every year people hype up Notre Dame and they're usually good, but like they think they're playoff fans. Like this is the year, and then they lose to an unranked team. It's they always lose to a team that they shouldn't, and
Yep.
and probably as Notre Dame fans, that's frustrating as hell. It's like when can we have consistency? Like
Yeah, I mean, I was
they can play
watching.
up to competition, but they can also play down
Yeah,
to competition. I mean, it's
we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. And especially, I was watching I think it's the Luck of the Irish or something on Peacock. It's like a Hard Knocks version for Notre Dame. I was watching it, and they're all like Lou Holtz, all the former Notre Dame coaches and whatnot before the season were like, and the fans were like, year three, that's when so and so or Lou Holtz, they all won their national championships. And everybody's saying year three. Well, year three got off to a good start. And then the next week you have a hangover and you lose to a team you probably should have beat.
no,
But
you should have been 30-point favorites.
yeah, you should have
You're, the
easily.
conversation, the conversation in Notre Dame circles and college football went from this team's going to be in the playoff all the way down to are they even going to make the playoff? Even if they run the table, are they even going to make the playoff?
Well, every game's a playoff game now. I mean, I don't even think they won't get in at 10-2 now. I mean,
I don't think they'll
maybe
even get an
chaos
11.
happens.
I don't think they'll even get in at 11-1
Ah,
unless
I think
Northern
they
Illinois.
will.
Yeah, they
I think
probably will
well,
because,
Notre Dame
and
brand.
it's not because they're going to be a good team. It's because the media is going to love them so much.
Yeah,
And then
that's
they'll
why the
play a
brand.
team like then they'll play a team like a Penn State, an Ole Miss, and
That's
get
the reason.
smoked.
That's the
But
reason right here. Money.
I mean, North props to props to Northern Illinois. Thank you. I'm not a big Notre Dame fan. Thank you for that. It was awesome. It's why we
Yep.
like college football. Notre Dame, get your stuff together. and good luck for the rest of the season.
And one last shout out to Northern Illinois head coach. I believe his name is Thomas Hammond, and his celebration at the end, just being a very emotional on the
It's
sidelines,
why we
is just
love
what
college
makes
football.
exactly what makes college football special and college sports in general special. I mean, let's move down to another game of the week. I mean, it was prime time on NBC. Prime time, get it? Nebraska Cornhuskers destroy Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes 28-10. What did you think of this in Lincoln?
I'll give my quick thoughts because I've kind of said what I've already wanted to say about Colorado. They're not getting it. Like it's a line of scrimmage game. Their defense. Nebraska, look to your schedule, guys. You could probably go.
9-3.
I think even 10-2 with that schedule. Like
Yep.
there's only like one game that I'm like, yeah, they're definitely gonna lose that. Everyone else is like 50.
Ohio State.
Ohio State, like, and even then they could give them a fight, but like Dylan Raiola, good. Defense, really good. Colorado, really bad. Shooter Sanders, you're plummeting your draft stock with your play, but also here's the big thing: throwing your offensive line under the bus. That is quarterback rule number one that you should never do. Because what's the offensive line's job to do? Protect you. Do you think the offensive line's gonna want to protect Shooter and fight for his life now? Probably not. And Colorado, welcome to the Big 12. That's what's gonna be every single week.
Yep. I mean, and especially in the post-game press conference, he had Shadur calling out his offensive line, which probably isn't really the best thing, but I
They're
mean, the
wasting
offensive
the
line got destroyed.
Colorado's wasting the best player, in my opinion,
Yep.
the best player in college football. They're
Yeah.
wasting the best player in college football.
Yep. Nebraska, I might be drinking the juice here. I think they're back.
I don't think
They
that
could easily be like 5 or 6 and now. I was looking at that schedule. They got some pretty easy games coming up. I mean, not easy, but before they get into conference game, they play a cupcake game at home, and then like Illinois and someone else. I mean, two easy Big
tier
Ten
two,
games that they should
it's
win.
tier two Matt Rule. Like
Yep.
he did at Temple, he did at Baylor, and now he's doing that at Nebraska.
Nebraska fans deserve this. But let's
I'm
head to
I'm
some
happy.
other.
I'm happy for them. I'm happy for
Yeah,
them. It's like I'd like to see Nebraska be back. I've never seen them be good, and
me
I've
too.
heard these great things. It's like let
They
I
had a
would-
great
I
fan
like
base too.
I like to see a team in the Midwest be good, and maybe it's Nebraska.
It's not Iowa.
Yeah, not Iowa.
I
Shout
was
out to
watching
the
the game. I
Cyclones,
mean,
winning
they
the
struggled.
Cyhawk.
Yep, the Cyclones went into Iowa to beat the Cyclones. That heads into our top 25 struggle. I mean, Iowa was one of them. They were up 19-0 against Iowa State at home and choked like a rivalry game. Oklahoma squeaks by Houston 16-12, and that was kind of a shocker. I mean, they were like 30-point favorites. I mean, Houston, I mean, I know they're in the Big 12 now, but they were not very
Oklahoma,
good.
Oklahoma, get your stuff together because you got a big game next week. You got Tennessee coming into town.
How about this
It
week?
looks No, it's not this week.
I
Next,
mean, this week they got Tulane. They can't be sleeping on the
yeah, they
Greenway
got Tulane, but
coming
like,
off an overtime loss to Kansas
yeah,
State.
yeah, get just Oklahoma,
Get your
tighten
mind right.
tighten up, you'll be fine.
I mean, that heads into Kansas or other game, Kansas State coming back in overtime, beating Tulane, and they have a big game. I'm pretty sure it's on Friday night
It
again.
is. We'll be picking it later.
That's right. We'll head into that later. And then Oregon kicking game-winning field goal to beat Boise State. And another shout out to Ashton Genty. I mean, I think he had another game with 190 yards or something absurd on the ground
Remember when
against
we were
the
all
Duck.
saying Ollie Gordon was unanimous number one running back?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's on
yeah,
back
he's no
now.
longer. It's Ashton Genty. He should be in the Heisman. Right now, he's in my top three Heisman. He's in the top three Heisman for me so far the year. Maybe the best player I've seen so far this year. I mean, there might be one or two other really good guys, but we all know it's going to go to a quarterback. But if Ashton Genty just gets invited to New York at the end of the year for what he's going to do, and I think he'll probably be the sole reason Boise State makes the playoff if they make a
Yeah.
run. It'll be off his back. Oregon, you went 2-0 against Idaho, the high Idaho schools, but what's going on, man? Like, is it that you're not good? Not as good as we all thought? Is it just chemistry reasons? Did we hype up Dylan Gabriel so much? I don't know because I feel like
Hey, Boise
Oregon.
State's is good.
Here's the thing: I feel like Oregon could be like a Notre Dame, where it's like it's a 1 game schedule for them. That October 12th game when they host Ohio State, but you can't do that. Oregon, this is a national championship team. All the NIL money you've spent is for a national championship. You don't win national championships by squeaking past Idaho and Boise State. You have to take care of business. Why do you think it's so hard to be good? It's being consistent. That's why Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, literally any national championship team is commended because it's so hard to do what they do.
Yep. I think Boise State is definitely a team that fans are gonna need to keep an eye out for when the group of five team, the one team that makes the playoff. I'm after how I've seen Boise State play against Oregon, and then they look good against Georgia Southern. I mean, watch out in the Mountain West for the
I think it's
Boise
good. I think it's
Broncos.
going to be Boise, South Florida running for the Group 5.
Yeah,
But heck, what about Northern Illinois? I mean,
yeah. I
they
mean,
got
they're ranked
ranked
now.
for being Notre
Yeah.
Dame. So they could make a run, but just get ready for a fun MAC season.
Let's head into our week 3 preview. Game 1, big noon kickoff. Alabama heading into Camp Randall Stadium to play against Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers. What do you think about this game, JD?
Before I go into that, were you thinking of going to this game at any point?
Not really. It's kind of like a weird weekend. It feels like on a Labor Day or like a holiday weekend. I would want to go to the Packers game or something, or like a Brewers game or something like that.
Remember when LSU faced Wisconsin all those years ago and it was in Lambeau?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
If Alabama was playing in Lambeau, I'd spend an ungodly amount of money to go.
Yeah.
But they're in Camp Randall and I'm here in Tuscaloosa. So this game. Tyler Van Dyke is facing Alabama for the second time in his career. First time was against Alabama against Bryce Young in Miami when Bryce Young pretty much started his Heisman campaign and Tyler Van Dyke did not look good. This game, he and Luke Fickell, who's also facing Alabama for the second time in his career, will be looking to upset Alabama at noon. And it's in Camp Randall. They're gonna have JJ Watt. They're gonna have everyone there. This is prime position for Alabama to remind the world who they are. I think they're gonna smoke them. Like I do not like, and it's not really because I think Alabama's great. I think they're really, really good. I don't think they're the elite yet, but I have that feeling like this game is gonna be. I think this game could be special. It all depends on the start. If Wisconsin gets out early, then Bama could have a problem. It's like how fast can Alabama start, and can the offensive line fix what they fix it? Like
Y-
like the big thing is King Proctor going to play? Well, if he does play, great. If not, figure you better figure it out what line works. But I think Alabama's going to fix it. I think South Florida happened. They watched the film, they critiqued it. DeBoer got probably really pissed with them, but I think Jalen Milroe runs over them. I think the running game will be huge in this game. They'll permit. I think Alabama will play Big Ten football, where it's just running the football. I got Alabama, and I've got them handle it. I got them winning by like probably 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I think I mean Wisconsin is going off their first two games have been kind of both close against, I mean, non-power five teams. So
But they'll play great against us. I mean,
yeah,
they're
they've
super.
been looking, they've been looking ahead for this game. You already know they've had it on their calendars.
Mhm.
Every fan's been talking about it. Bama's coming in town. I mean, they already have shirts, roll badge. And Luke Fickle, man, I have kind of questions about that or what he's doing with the offensive scheme. I mean, Keith Longo from UNC is their offensive coordinator. They're trying to run like an air raid, which is kind of weird in Wisconsin because Wisconsin's known for their ground and pound with fantastic running backs that they've had and come through their school. They got Chaz Belushi right now. He's a pretty good running back. I mean, he's not Braylon Allen good, but he's solid. They got Tyler Van Dyke. They got some solid receivers. They might give. I mean, if they're air raid, they're gonna give Alabama's secondary a test. I mean, if Tyler Van Dyke, if they throw the deep ball, they might have it because Alabama
My
outside corner has
concern,
not been able to cover that.
my concern with Wisconsin is I don't think they've got the playmakers. I think Florida. I think South Florida had the
Yeah,
faster playmakers. That's the thing I'm worried about with
yeah,
Wisconsin. You don't. It's not because like they're bad. I just think you
different
don't
system.
have the talent outside. They haven't been recruiting good. And to beat Bama, you're gonna have to have Tyler Van Dyke play the game of his life. And do I think that's gonna happen? No. I think Alabama wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's close because it's a team playing Alabama and it's their Super Bowl. And everyone plays
Yeah.
great against Alabama.
Especially in the years past on the road, Alabama hasn't really had a dominant win on the road since probably the Kentucky game of last year. But
I wouldn't even say that. Like I'd keep going back.
yeah, I really just want to see the penalties fixed up. I want to see Jalen Milroe get protected better. I mean, offensive line was
I'd like
kind
to
of
see.
miserable to watch.
I've Last week we said we need more long drives. We got a ton of that.
Yeah, we got all
And this
those.
week we want protection. Maybe we get protection. What I want to see is the second receiver. Who can
Who
a
stepped
guy
up?
besides Ryan Williams live up to the potential of this receiving core? You ready to head on to the next game?
Yep, college game day. LSU heading in to face off in Williams-Brice Stadium against South Carolina Gamecocks, coming off of a big win on the road against Kentucky. This game is going to be interesting, especially it's a noon game. It's noon Eastern time in Columbia. I mean, they're going to be bumping Sandstorm. They're going to be, I mean, LSU looked coming off the loss against USC, against Nicholls State. They kind of just like
Outscored.
outscored them pretty much. Yeah, in a track meet. South Carolina. How about you preview South Carolina? I mean, how about you preview this game? You got a lot more insight on this.
All right. Here's the first little fun fact. When was the last time LSU played in Williams-Brice Stadium? Just take a guess.
Probably like 10 years at least.
2008.
So 16 years.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how often. Yeah, that's the SEC scheduling right there in a nutshell.
They'll be playing 2 years in a row now.
Okay, South Carolina. You're very. I'm happy for you. You're getting game day. Huge deal. Winsbright Stadium really can get going, and it really helps is because you got Lenore Sellers, who's a young quarterback. And instead of going to Death Valley to play LSU at night or even at 3:30, you get him at it's South Carolina. So that's gonna help.
Yeah.
So will they be able to score points? Yes. Because like LSU's defense, it looks better than it did last year, but like that's not by much.
Yeah.
I think Lenore Sauce is going to be able to run. I think he's going to be able to hit the deep ball. I think they'll take what they learned from Kentucky, just clean up the errors and do that. The defensive side, that's the real question because Nussmeier's good. LSU's got playmakers. The matchup of the game, though, is Will Campbell, probably the best left tackle in the country. He'll be top five. He'll be
Top
top
five in the
five,
draft.
top 10 at worst. Going up against Dylan Stewart. And Dylan Stewart is probably the best edge rusher in the country.
As a freshman.
And he's a true freshman. This freshman class could be historically good. Let me just, okay. I was looking at PFF today. Dylan Stewart in week 1 against Old Dominion had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. And he had like a 95 point something, which was the highest grade for any edge rusher since 2020. And then in Kentucky, he had 10 pressures, another 2 sacks, and another fumble.
Yeah. I
The
mean, he won
guy
them both of
can't,
those games.
and even if you double team him, he's just faster than everyone, and he has incredible
Yep.
technique, incredible footwork. If Stewart beats Campbell, if Stewart beats Campbell, then LSU, you got a problem. Because if you have to double team Stewart, then guess what? The interior of South Carolina is also really good. They can get interior pressure. If Dylan Stewart is contained, LSU will blow his team out. We'll blow him out. If Dylan Stewart is the Dylan Stewart of the past 2 weeks, LSU, get ready for a dogfight.
I want to see if South Carolina can lean on Raheem Sanders some, maybe take some pressure off Lenore
Rocket
Sellers.
Sanders.
Yep. I mean, that's his nickname for a reason. And I want to see LSU. This is what Dylan Stewart is, what everybody thought Harold Perkins was 2 years ago when they were putting Harold Perkins off the edge. Now they moved him to middle linebacker, and that's not his position, LSU. You need to learn, put the man, add an edge rusher. That's where he shines.
Can
I mean, come on now.
can I tell you this? So we've heard hype since Will Anderson left. We're like, oh, it's Harold Perkins. And then last year it was James Pierce Jr. I watched both of them play. They're both really good. Didn't blow me away. This kid blew me away. Like, remember freshman Will Anderson, how dominant he was? This guy's like that level. I truly think Dylan Stewart's the
I mean,
gonna be he's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a problem for a long time. And he's the difference maker. Can he beat Campbell consistently? Like
yep,
if that again, it all rides on Stewart versus Campbell for me. That's it. Like there's other factors that could go in, but if you told me like on Sunday, Dylan Stewart wins the beats gets pressured like 10 times and beats Campbell about 60% of the time, I'd say South Carolina's probably going to cover. Maybe
yeah.
and maybe even win. But
Mm,
I don't know.
we'll have to see.
So that's my take on South Carolina LSU.
Yeah, let's move. This is a very interesting game, a big game. I mean, for people's jobs purposes, Texas A&M for one person's job. Texas A&M heading into the swamp, and it looks like DJ Lagway and Graham Mertz are gonna be splitting snaps. Which I mean, DJ Lagway put
He didn't really say that. It's just they're both taking team reps at practice.
I,
We'll see about that.
Napier wants to save his job. He'll give the ball to Lagway, but
Okay.
we'll see.
So this one is the most 50-50 game of the year for me. I I have no idea. I could see this one go both ways, like truly. Like I've seen like there's like 3 worlds where I see Texas A&M win. There's 3 worlds I see Florida win. I have no idea. Like both teams are like same tier, like same level, SEC level. They're both right there. I think Texas A&M has more hope, obviously, because it's Elko's first year, and he's recruiting great. And Elko's going to be the right guy for A&M, but it's his first year. For Florida, you've got hope, but it's like there's a little more uncertainty, more so the schedule, how you played against Miami, and Napier. What's Napier? Can Napier show flashes this year? And this is one of those games they desperately need.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're saying flashes this year. I think you mean flashes in the coming weeks because his job is
Yeah,
ticking.
fair
It's a
point.
ticking time bomb at this point. One bad loss and Scott Strickland is the Florida athletic director is probably going to be on the
If
phone
they
with
get blown up by Texas A&M, that you can put his. I don't think it'd be fired yet because I think it's way too early for that. But if
in a month or two.
they
He'll
have a
be gone.
nurse, if they have a nurse stinker, they throw up a nurse stinker against Texas A&M. Like Texas A&M beats them by like 20 something.
Yeah,
It could be bad. But I don't think so. I think it's going to be a really good tight game. I think this could be a game of the week.
yeah,
This is my
I
game of the
agree.
week. This is my game of the week.
I agree. Texas A&M needs to show something. I mean, they got their first win last week against McNeese State, but this, I mean, you just want to see better quarterback play against a good team. I mean, not a good team, but against a Power Five team in Florida. In Florida, you want to see their defense play a little better. I mean, they couldn't really get a stop on Cam Ward, and Cam Ward also just played out of his mind.
I'll give you
But
another stat. When was
yeah,
the
let's
last
hear
time Texas A&M won a road game?
probably probably like a
2021. And it's like 2022.
geez,
It's been a
2022.
while since A&M's won a true road game. That could be a factor, but again, it's the most 50-50 game because they're both kind of
Yeah,
like same tier, but one one
one
regime
needs it more.
one regime's in year three, the other is in year one. So I mean, maybe the run game becomes the difference. Maybe it's probably the defense of Texas A&M becomes the difference because they're probably pretty good. I don't know. It's like
This
I
is a
can't.
coin toss.
No idea for this one.
Yeah, let's
I
move
have
into a
I have more. I'm more confident in the next game we're going to preview.
yeah.
If you've got if you got something to say, do you got one more thing to say about Texas A&M Florida, or we can up to a game
I'm good
I'm
to
more
head
confident.
into this game is gonna be awesome. I mean, you
And
need to turn
you know,
on your TV for Friday night football,
I can't
Arizona
watch it because
Wildcats.
you know what sucks? I can't watch it. I got work Friday night.
Hey, just check your phone on the games.
I know. It's
Every time you open ESPN, there's probably be a touchdown.
I just want to be sent to a place with good connection so I can just have it maybe a
Yeah,
little error. It's just like, So the game we're talking about is the first of many games in the Big 12 for the race for the Big 12. And you're getting two of the top teams. Arizona traveling to Manhattan to take on the Kansas State Wildcats. So this game, I wish it was Saturday because I want to watch it, even though I'll be in Starkville, for that. But yeah,
yeah.
I can't wait to watch this game. It's gonna be so much fun. It's this new Big 12. They're all the same tier. They're all the same tier to me. Like there's teams that are better than others in the Big 12, but like they're all the same tier. I cannot wait to watch more of this conference.
Yep.
So excited.
I mean,
What team do you think could have the edge or key players for one of these teams?
I think Kansas State's gonna have the edge just based off what I've seen, like scoreboard wise. Just looking at the scores lately for Arizona, they've been in some shootouts with teams that
Hmm.
should not be able to keep up with them. Defensively, they're not good, is what I'm saying pretty much. Offensively, top five offense in the
Probably the
country,
best
just with two
offense.
guys,
Probably the best offense in the Big 12, to be honest.
the best duo in the country. I mean, Noah Fafita, Victoria McMillan. I mean, they got a private jet NIL deal together. Come on now, you can't really top that.
Fair point.
I think this game is gonna be a shootout. Must see TV. I think Avery Johnson, not the basketball coach, the football player. He is gonna show the world why he is an underrated quarterback. I mean, he doesn't really throw it much,
He
but
beat
dang, it's
Will Har
quick.
he 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 said, "Hey, Will Howard, get out of here and go to
Yeah,
Ohio State. I've got this job. I won this job."
yeah. Avery Johnson's like more of an interesting prospect because he's such a good with the run. If he can figure out his passing, he's gonna be scary. I mean, I'm very intrigued about this. This is especially after last week, Kansas State escaping in New
It's going to be a
Orleans.
shootout. Like you said, it's going to be a
Yeah,
shootout. Kansas State's defense looks also suspect.
yeah,
Tulane got wide open.
yeah.
They made big plays. And guess what? Guess what, Kansas State? You're going to face one of the best quarterbacks and one of the best receivers in college football. So this is going to be a fun matchup. I can't wait for this going through our
Friday
prediction.
night fireworks, as some say.
Friday night fireworks.
I
I like
mean,
Friday night fun.
yeah, fun fireworks
Friday night
points.
foot.
I mean, come
Friday
on
night
now.
football.
I mean, it ain't. We'll head into those predictions in just a second. How about you get us started with our week 3 predictions? What do
Can
you
I
got
just
for it?
let's just start with this. You absolutely destroyed me in picks this week. You went 6-2. Your only losses were Auburn, which fair. I mean,
Yeah.
and then the other one you lost was Kentucky. Me, on the other hand, sucked. And some of them I was really annoyed with. Like,
Arkansas.
I had Arkansas. I could have been 50-50. I could have.
I mean,
So,
it was like 75
and
25 without at halftime.
yeah, yeah. I cannot believe it. Another one I really sucked on was let's see, Cincinnati. They got close. No cigar. Mississippi State. They tried to come back, but it was
They
just
were
too
down by
much.
like 27-3 or something crazy
Yeah, they came back, but they
after
were
dark.
terrible start. Terrible start.
Yeah,
But it's a new week, new me. It's a new
that's
me.
right. New minds, new picks.
All right, let's start with a game that we did not preview, but it's one of the more interesting games. Memphis and Florida State.
Mike Norvell
Let's who
versus
you
old school.
got?
This is what I think how the game's gonna go. It's Florida State, they're favored by 5. I mean, you want to, if it was at the beginning of the season, they were 2-0, they'd probably be like 19 and a half or like 13 and a half point favorites. I'm gonna go FSU strictly because Boston College and Georgia Tech, they both play a different style of offense than Memphis does. Memphis is like a 5th-year quarterback, I believe, and Seth Hannigan, I believe that's his last name. And they like to air it out. And Boston College and Georgia Tech are both run first teams with their quarterbacks with running the ball a lot. And I think is their quarterback for Memphis is more of a pocket passer, and Florida State is going to be able to contain them and actually. And maybe we'll see improvements with DJ, or they might go with Brock Glenn. I mean,
I
who
think
knows? But I think Florida State is actually going to get a win here.
I think Florida State wins, but not because of DJ. It's going to be because of their run game.
Yeah.
It's going to be because of Roydell Williams and their running game. I think that's how they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I agree
I
with you on
don't
that one.
love this Florida State team, obviously, but I think they're better than Memphis.
I think you just kind of have to like fasten your seatbelt and you're just along for the ride and hope they win
Yep.
at this point.
Next game, Alabama, Wisconsin. We already previewed this game. Who you got?
Yeah, think we're I think we're both going to see Alabama's first road win under Kalen DeBoer, and I think they're actually going to cover the 16 points, and it might not. I think Wisconsin's not that good, so I think Wisconsin's going to. They're gonna. It's gonna be a good game in the first half, and I think Alabama, what they did last week, are gonna pull away in the second half.
LSU at South Carolina. College game day. Do you want me to go first this one?
Yeah, you got it.
So I really, 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 really. You know what's great? South
Pick the
Carolina.
upset.
South
There you
Carolina.
go.
South Carolina. I think it might rain, and I think Rocket Sanders, Raheem Rocket Sanders
Yep.
does the job.
And I know, I mean, weather,
I
especially, I mean,
don't love
travel
it.
for
I don't
LSU.
love this pick, but
Yeah.
go big or go home. I mean,
You need to
South
get some games
Carolina.
back on me.
I believe in Dylan. I believe in Dylan Stewart, the South Carolina
Yeah.
team to beat LSU.
LA, it even gets more interesting now, especially with the hurricane going towards Louisiana. That might mess up their travel. I mean, it won't mess up the travel. They're just gonna. I feel like they're gonna play for their state here, and LSU is gonna win.
You got the Bayou Bengals.
I have the Bayou Bengals.
Okay. Here's the game that I've been going over. Texas A&M, Florida. Do you want me to go first as one, or do you want to go first?
I'm gonna go first, real quick. Chomp chomp. Gators get a big win. DJ Lagway. Hopefully he's starting. He has a big game. And Billy Napier for now saves his job for another week.
I could. I won't be mad if I win or lose this game. If I lose this game, I won't be mad. I think. I think A&M.
All right. You have
I
a
think
chance to
Texas
win
A&M
some
gets.
games on me.
I think Texas A&M wins because I think their defense is better than Florida's.
Yeah.
Just barely. Let's see. One, two, three, four. One, two. Let's do this one. UCF versus TCU. It's a one
That's
spread.
yeah, that's an interesting game.
Completely 50-50 in the Big 12.
I
Who you
think I'm gonna
got?
go with I think I'm gonna go with TCU here, just the home team. But I don't like it. TCU's defense did not look that great, and UCF, I mean, Gus Malzahn's always had a good offense, and they have KJ Jefferson now, former Arkansas quarterback, running the show there down in Orlando. But just
I
because
got
it's a home game, I think I'm gonna have to ride with the Horned Frogs.
TCU.
There we go.
Uh,
Don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't
But
like it either.
cover your nose and just
I don't
ride
like
along with the Horned
I don't like
Frogs.
a ton of these games.
Yeah.
Georgia. I think this one. I'll give us
Yeah,
a kind of an
unanimous.
easier one. Georgia, Kentucky.
Georgia. I mean, Kentucky's
Georgia.
offensive line has just gotten worse ever since Eric Wolford's gone back there.
Georgia. Ranked
If you
matchup.
don't have a good O line, you're not winning games.
Yep. Ranked matchup. Boston College taking on Mizzou. I'll go first this one. Missouri.
Yeah, I'm a MIZ, ZOU, Missouri. But I think Boston College is going to keep it close and cover whatever. I think it's like 16 or 17. I think they're going to cover
I
that.
think I think Mizzou covers this game. The next game I've got the team covering. Tulane, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma in a bounce back.
I want to pick Tulane so bad. I want
This is like a letdown spot for Tulane, just
Nope,
off of the
I'm not doing it. No, not
big
doing
high
it.
in their win,
I'm gonna pick the
and Oklahoma
Sooners.
just barely winning.
I'm gonna pick the Sooners to not look ahead to Tennessee and do
Oh,
this.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
I mean, if Oklahoma can get through this game, we're set for a big, big matchup in the SEC next week.
especially
Probably,
Josh Heupel
probably game,
returning.
probably game day, to be honest.
Yeah, especially Josh Heupel returning to where he won a national championship with Oklahoma as a
Absolutely,
player. I mean,
absolutely.
that's going to be a big game. We'll get into that next week, though. I mean, we got some great underrated. I mean, not really great matchups, but we do have some very intriguing ones that could turn out to be really good, and it could be
We
an
said
entertaining week.
we said week two didn't look that good, and
Yeah, now as I'm saying.
look what happened. So it's college football. It's the best sport ever.
Exactly, folks. That'll wrap up episode 3 of the Fourth and Mile podcast with Nicholas Elliott and JD Zasa. Thanks for tuning in as always, and y'all have a great rest of your weekend.